Hello and welcome to From the Backseat. I am your host, Ethan, and it is great to be back. And we are joined today by my co host.
What up, guys? Clark here, back again. As you know, always willing to give some of the worst sports takes you will find. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here for your entertainment. Cannot wait to get into today. Really looking forward to it.
At least you're
So
humble.
today is super exciting for us. We have a huge guest on the show, our biggest guest yet. We have NFL Mike on the show. So let's give him a round of applause, Clark.
Woo! Let's go.
I'm honored. I wouldn't call me the biggest guest. Come
Oh,
on.
we would.
There's got to be
We
somebody.
We would. We give you that honor. We will slide all of our other guests for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We will burn bridges.
just take them all down. They'll never come back, but at least you got me.
Yeah. So Mike, how about you tell our fans where can they find you? Where can they interact with you?
Oh, yeah. The biggest thing is NFL Mike on TikTok. Obviously, that's probably where you guys will know me from if you do recognize me at all. But on the side, I work on a YouTube channel called the MJT YouTube channel. It's myself, Mike, my friend Joe, and my friend Tony. And we're just three guys that love to talk sports, and we're always looking for a fourth. So make sure you go over there and subscribe to that YouTube channel. It's the biggest thing I've been trying to grow right now.
And how are you just doing in general today?
I'm doing great. Been making videos all day, working on fantasy football stuff all day. Can't complain. I'll tell you that much.
Love to hear it.
How are the preseason games?
I didn't really watch like the games, which is something that kind of makes me feel bad because I pride myself on watching all the games. But I was watching highlights. I watched some of the Patriots game. Tyquan Thornton looks good. New England fans.
Yep.
Malik Willis looks good. Watch some of those highlights. Watching Kyle Hamilton. We were talking about when we were off the air.
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton is flying around the field out there. So the young players that I had my eyes on, all of them are looking pretty impressive so far. We'll see. Daniel Jones didn't look so great.
Yeah. One really quick because you brought up the Giants. You know who's coming up for bringing up the rear for his contract is Kenny Galladay. I don't know what he's doing out there. I don't know if you saw any of that. He's bringing up the rear for worst NFL contract right now.
I think so, and someone that I have never heard of before laid the boomstick on him. I don't know who it was.
Maybe it'll wake him up. Giants fans are probably loving that.
He caught a screen on like 3rd and 20 and just got laid out for no reason.
I saw a tweet today that was like, there might be an alternate reality where the Bengals signed Kenny Galladay and then didn't draft Jamar Chase.
Oh, I mean, that's what the whole entire world was smashing their desks for. Drafting a sign a wide receiver.
I mean, you guys would have Sewell, so I guess. I mean, Sewell's still a great player. So
yeah, but we don't go anywhere, not nearly as good with Jamar Chase. So
if you guys
would have had Kenny Galladay.
If you guys, yeah.
If we had Kenny Galladay right now, oh no. Clark would be dead via an aneurysm because he would be seeing what Jamar Chase did. So
if you guys didn't have Jamar Chase, then T. Higgins would be like a 1,300-yard receiver.
I know exactly. He would be. T would still be great, but yeah. I like Jamar. Big fan.
I like having them both. A little greedy, huh?
All right. So before we get into our conversation, I got to thank our sponsor for today, which is Manscaped. Manscaped is just an absolute great company. So Manscaped, their products are precision engineered for tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code BACKSEAT. Now, this isn't From the Backseat. It is just Backseat at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that means 12 million balls have been saved. Now, the Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and it's an absolute game changer. It is super easy to use, and there is no cuts, no trimming. It's absolutely great. No rashes. And then if you buy that Performance Package, you also get the Weed Whacker, which can help out your nose, getting those pesky nose hairs. Along with it has this thing that can help your ears to make sure you get those ears cleaned as well. You also get the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, the Crop Preserver Toner, the Performance Boxer Briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. It's just too good of an offer to pass up. Everything works really, really well. Clark and I both love it. Clark really loves the boxers, as you heard last episode.
Fantastic. Not only that, I will say this too, for the Weed Whacker folks, if you haven't tried out the Weed Whacker from Manscaped, if you're like someone like me who has an occasional extra hair in there, took the Weed Whacker to it, haven't breathed through the nose better than this in years. Sign yourself up for one. Changes the game. I'm a runner. Went on one this morning after doing it. Airways, purified, clear, ready to go. get yourself one, folks.
And they're also a San Diego company. So for me,
I didn't know
Chargers
that.
fan,
Yeah,
they're
right
based
there.
out of San Diego.
What? Damn.
Manscaped is from San Diego. It's funny. This isn't a sponsor. This is just a totally tangent. But do you know Dr. Squash?
Dr. Squash. No, I do not.
Yeah, like they
Squash.
do a lot of like YouTube like soap commercials. They're the soap company.
Oh
on
yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
Squatch.
They're
Yeah,
from
Squash.
Yeah.
They went to high school with us.
Oh,
They're
that's
also from
sick.
San Diego.
Yeah.
That's
But
sick.
that's a whole different thing.
Well, Manscaped, give me a call. I've been married for 4 years. I know the importance of having some smooth ass balls. Come on.
Yes. Let them know, folks. Get them on there.
Jeez, what are you guys doing?
So, of course, use the code BACKSEAT for 20% off your first order and worldwide shipping. Again, use Manscaped. It's absolutely great company. But moving on from that, we got a big interview to do with Mike. Absolutely biggest. Again, we're burning bridges here. We're breaking boundaries. So, Mike, we got to ask you, what, as you say, right in your TikTok bio, as you want pretty much everyone to see, what was that transition like from being in the military, in the Navy, into becoming a content creator as your kind of full-time job?
Yeah, it actually wasn't really planned, honestly. I was stationed overseas in Japan. I was actually playing pro football over there as well while I was stationed there. So it was kind of fun playing in their X League over there. But I had a passion for sports. And when I came home from being overseas, I went from living like this 100 miles an hour life where I'm constantly traveling, constantly going to different places, constantly working, constantly doing something, to moving into my in-laws' place with my wife, where we only had like half of a room to share with our 2 large dogs. So things slowed down to like slow motion speed for me. And something that I really missed was talking sports with my buddies. So me and my cousin started a podcast, which led to me starting Instagram, which led to me starting a TikTok. And apparently being a goofy mega football fan was trending at the time, and I blew up. So I got lucky at the timing. But yeah, it was by accident, really. I just was going on the internet just to try and find more people to talk sports with, because I was so bored in college. I was bored. I came home, went straight to college, and I was like, this is the slowest thing ever.
So why did you? Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead, Ethan. You shoot.
Well, so I was just gonna ask, why did you pick the NFL and not specifically just the Chargers? Like, why did you open it up to the entire NFL instead of just being a Chargers creator?
Well, I actually started off as Mike on the Mike Sports, and the behind the name is, my name is actually Sean. My last name is Michaels. You can see the name on the jersey here, but my name is Sean Michaels, and my military name, my nickname was Mike. So I came home, and me and my buddy Charles, he's probably never going to see this, but shout out to you, Charles. We had talked about doing a podcast, and he always said, like, if you do a podcast and you host it, you should call it the Mike on the Mike podcast. So I had the Mike on the Mike Sports podcast at first. I did that for like a year. And then I transitioned my name over to the NFL Mike, because like I just stopped covering basketball. I don't know. It's just, I'm more passionate about football than any other sport. So, I figured that if I'm more passionate about it, I probably can do it for a longer time if I really focus on the NFL. So I cover all the NFL. I love all of the NFL. I'm a fan of the entire NFL, 31 of the 32 teams in the NFL, and every player on 31 of the 32 rosters in the NFL. So I'm kind of obsessed with it all. I am a Chargers fan. That's my favorite team, but I also love everyone else. So that's why I kept it, just completely overarching of the NFL, because I love the NFL, man. It's not even just about, and I love the sport. I get into the USFL. I watch a lot of USFL. I watch the XFL. Again, like I said, I played overseas. I watched the X League, which no one's even ever heard of before. So I just love the sport in general. I go to high school games too.
Love that. So let me ask about you like this really quick too, because obviously you brought up the X over there in Japan. What kind of experience was like that for you? I mean, I feel like you talked about a really kind of unknown league. Just kind of walk us through what that was like, going out there and playing.
That was actually insane, man. I had just gotten to Japan, and football has been a big part of my life, right? In high school, I was kind of like a shy kid, believe it or not. And I didn't really have any friends. I had like one friend and my wife. That's it. That was my only 2 friends in high school. And football kind of got me to make more friends by joining the team, obviously. And I went overseas, and I was super sad because I was separated from my 2 friends that I had in high school. And out of nowhere, I just heard these guys talking about football tryouts, or waiting in line in the mess line. I was like, football tryouts? Is there a flag football league? And they said, no, it's tackle football. It's for the city of Yokosuka, which is the city I was stationed in. And it's a pro team that plays in their pro league. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I want to go try out. So I went with them to try out, and I was the only one that made the team. I played corner and safety out there for 3 years, and I played in 27 games in between my deployments and everything. Of course, I had to leave a bunch, but it was an awesome experience. The Japanese people love the sport of football, especially playing the sport of football. Very passionate fans. The level of competition obviously isn't, probably like D2 college in America. Like it isn't crazy, isn't this crazy high level of competition, but still was a ton of fun. And the coolest thing, and one of the coolest experiences of my life was playing in front of a sold out crowd in the Tokyo Dome. I will like always remember that moment. Just cool, man. I was super honored and I was super lucky to play those extra years because like I said, I love football that much, and I had already accepted that my career was done when no colleges wanted me to come play because I was small back then. But yeah,
that's huge.
That's how it kind of happened. Yeah.
And then let me ask you this too, because I feel like, especially you said over those deployment stuff being over in Japan, it's a lot of new things going on. It's can times be really challenging because it's somewhere you haven't been. So can you just tell us like how big, football itself, either watching it was for you and making things either a little bit more not necessarily reality based, but just kind of settled things down for you? Or like, what did they kind of do to be able to, like watch games, just be able to like lean on football as a source of things to do?
Well, are you talking about like the Japanese people, or are you talking about like my ability to watch?
No, I'm talking about like you, like, sitting down and like maybe like just watch a game is like something to just like kind of sit back a little bit on. What was it kind of like?
Well, I will say for anyone listening, if you guys know anyone that's in the military and they're stationed overseas, I didn't really get to watch football.
Yeah.
And it hurt me a lot. I don't know if you guys remember the game. Mike Williams catches the 2-point conversion to beat the Chiefs.
I did.
I watched. I was in the middle of the East China Sea on deployment for that game, and I watched that game by refreshing the ESPN like website with the play-by-play in text just to see what happened, and I was freaking out. And I did that for another game too that's memorable. The Steelers, that same season, we came back from down like 27-10 or something. Yeah. And like all the Steelers fans were coming and talking smack to me, and they're like, "Why are you sitting at the computer? The Chargers are getting blown out." So like I actually printed out a bunch of L's and was like handing it out to them.
As you should.
After,
good.
Yeah.
Let the Steelers fan know anytime you can, man.
I watched Super Bowl 52 in a Subway in Okinawa. I watched the Minnesota Miracle on a destroyer on my little like tiny iPod thing. So like I have a bunch of stories like where I was when I watched memorable games and stuff, but unfortunately most of them I just didn't get to see. I had to just read it.
Yeah, it's crazy you brought up that Mike Williams game because I feel like I have a story. I was abroad during college and I was living in Barcelona. And so that game was a Sunday night game, which meant it started at 2 a.m. Barcelona time. And I remember I went to sleep, woke up in the middle of the night by myself in my apartment and watched it from 2 to 5. And I remember just freaking out, not being able to go back to sleep because we had just beaten the Chiefs and it felt like we were going to win the division. And it felt like Rivers was finally going to be a Super Bowl champion. I mean, obviously the next week at the Ravens, which I also woke up for in the middle of the night.
I saw that game on the ship too. Too. When was that the same season? It might not have been the same season. Lamar Jackson, right? His first playoff game. Yeah. I watched that game too. I was like, let's see it because that was my first time ever watching Lamar Jackson. It honestly was.
Oh, really?
I was gone for his senior year of college when he was hyped, and I was gone for his rookie year in the NFL.
Man, that's crazy.
See, like because I also remember where I was watching that Chiefs and Chargers game. It's obviously a way less unique or different experience. I remember just betting on the game and like it hitting and going up to some of my buddies in the gym. I wasn't in college and be like, I told you. It's like telling these shit. So not nearly as cool or unique, but do you remember that obviously as a huge moment?
I was like trying to after that game happened, like because I didn't get to see the highlight until we pulled in. Obviously, I don't know how long it was, maybe a week or 2 weeks. I was like for at least 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, trying to like close my eyes and like just imagine what did that look like, right? Mm-hmm. And I always imagined it to the opposite side of the end zone. Mm-hmm. That's how I remember it so vividly in my brain because I imagined it so many times on the wrong side of the end zone. So when I watched it, I was like, I didn't even have it in the right side of the end zone the whole time. I was trying to get it right.
Well, so then I got to ask you, what's your just overall favorite moment as a Chargers fan?
Overall favorite moment, I probably would say So I was a huge Danny Woodhead fan. So I'll probably say the 5-touchdown game from Danny, which is like really underrated. A lot of people would say like Antonio Gates and Rivers breaking the record. That was an awesome moment. Keenan Allen's comeback season. That's one of my favorite seasons. Phillip Rivers, obviously his last run, the last game in San Diego. Like there's a bunch. LT breaking the record. There's a bunch, but I think that I'm gonna go with Danny Woodhead. Oh, another one that's underrated, I think, was when we played Kaepernick and we had that crazy comeback because like my whole family is 49ers fans. So again, they were talking smack way too early. And it's happened so many times. The Chargers have always been like a comeback team. They always have been.
No, I feel like especially under like the Rivers era, it was a comeback team. For sure.
Yeah, I'll never like Jaleel Adai is in my head, like just staring at the camera, just pissed off. Like, y'all gotta believe in this. Y'all gotta believe. Oh, like Jaleel Adai was a maniac, man.
What was Jaleel? Didn't he have like what was it? Hitman was Jaleel Adai?
Hitman.
Well,
Hitman.
It's funny with Adai because he was Hitman, and then when we drafted Denzel Perriman, his nickname at Miami was also Hitman. So there were two Hitmans on the defense, and they like battled and like beefed about it.
Both those dudes are some of the only players that I've seen knock themselves out hitting people.
Oh yeah.
I think one time Jaleel Adai like hit somebody and like knocked out standing up and woke up before he fell.
Probably Jaleel Adai had absolutely zero remorse to what was going to happen to his body or his head after he hit someone. He just knew he was going to rock you, and that was going to be about it.
That guy was a maniac. Some of those defenses were fun to watch. They weren't usually the best, like our most consistent, but they were fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean for sure. But let's move it back to you just kind of went on a big trip. You went to Canton, Ohio. How was it at the Hall of Fame game? How was that experience?
It was absolutely unbelievable, man. And we had like the VIP access and stuff through Hager, which was the brand that I was working with on social media content. And it was unbelievable. Like we sat front row at the Gold Jacket dinner. We sat like 10 rows up at the concert. We had club seats at the game, which didn't really matter to me. I stayed in the stands the whole time. But my wife loved going into the club where like usually the celebrities and stuff hang out and they have free food and stuff. So it was an unbelievable experience. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is awesome. And if you ever are even close to it, make sure you go. Make sure you go. Even if you're a casual NFL fan, it is so eye-opening how long the NFL's history is, how many steps of the way that it could have gone wrong, and how many people really contributed towards the NFL becoming what it's become, and how it could not be what it is if it wasn't for those people. So that thing, it was humbling because I feel like I watched today's players, I watched today's coaches, and I feel a certain way about them. But these guys were really doing the same thing, but before it was popular, trying to get it popular. So it was really cool.
What was like maybe the favorite exhibit or like, display case they had out?
Oh, my favorite 100% hands down is they have, when you first walk in, you start to go up the stairs. And it's crazy because I actually met the Kansas City Chiefs owner there in that exact spot. Really? It was pretty crazy. Yeah. But when you go up the first set of stairs, there's this huge mural. Like it is huge. Like, I don't know, 20-foot tall mural of Kellen Winslow being like carried off the field after the epic in Miami. And I had just done like a mini like documentary on that game literally days before. So when I walked up to it, I was like, this is like a full circle moment for me. I was just like super invested in this story. And I had just figured out like all the little bit, like I still remember the stat line, 13 catches, 166 yards and a touchdown and a field goal block to send it into overtime. But seeing that like that, I was like, that is super sick that we have something in the Hall of Fame like that for our team.
That's top notch.
Oh, and Herbert's jersey's there too from the rookie year when he broke the records. That was pretty cool.
Well, Rivers' jersey is there, right, for the record for 27 completions in a row?
I didn't see Rivers' jersey, but they like alternate that part of the exhibit. That's like the like active like rotating section. So it's probably there, and they probably have it in the rotation of putting it out.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I thought typically both the MLB and NFL had like, because obviously they have so many active accomplishments that go on, and they want to keep the museum updated. I'm sure just switching things out intermittently, so I'm sure it's probably just not out that time.
Yeah, Herbert, like when you walk into that room where they have kind of like the active records being broken section, walk in that room, Herbert's is front and center, first jersey there, and I was like, is Herbert the only second-year quarterback on here? I'm looking for Burrow everywhere. Couldn't find him. And like right when we're about to leave, I like literally just looked over at my wife and I said, see that? No Joe Burrow in this thing, but number 10's here. And then I look, and he was like in the very, very corner, the last corner. There's a Joe Burrow Super Bowl jersey there. And I was like, damn
That's okay.
We'll always
Was there
linger
any
around a
Tua
little
stuff?
bit.
it. I mean, Burrow deserves to be in there for that run.
Yeah.
No, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But Herbert's like been unmatched these first 2 years. Actually, you know what? Funny enough, I'm going to bring this up here really quick. Mike, you know what's a crazy thing about Ethan?
What is it?
When we watched the 2020 NFL draft, this is great. I always hold this over his head. We always do like a mock draft, and we've done it for years, ever since we were in high school. And I was a huge Justin Herbert guy. I had him as my second best quarterback prospect coming out. When the Chargers drafted Justin Herbert, he was like, damn, I really wanted Tua instead. Ethan was a huge Tua over Justin Herbert. He was very upset. I told him, Ethan, it's going to be okay because Justin Herbert's great. And now look who's the biggest like Justin Herbert simp of all time. It's Ethan over there. Only he had listened so long ago, he could have saved himself some hardship, but no.
It's okay. My expectations had to be so low for then me to fall in love with him.
Yeah.
Like,
I wanted even worse. I was calling for Isaiah Simmons, and I was just like, let's just rock.
No,
really?
I was like, let's just rock with Tyrod for a year. So mine was way worse.
Goodness.
Mine was way
Really?
worse. Mine was way worse.
Wow.
I was looking at
Isaiah
the next
Simmons
draft
is nice. I get. Wow, you really wanted to rock with Tyrod for a year?
Well, you know who I wanted to rock with? I was like over the moon about getting Tom Brady.
Well, yeah, that's understandable.
I was like, let's do it. Like, they were like, do you want it to happen, or do you want him to go after someone in the draft? Brady. Every time. Yeah. Brady. Come, please, Brady. But it didn't happen.
Who wouldn't want that? I mean, I feel like that's a situation of...
I think that's probably why I pivoted towards Isaiah Simmons. Because I was like, what if we pair Isaiah Simmons with Derwin when Derwin gets healthy? But I think it was the letdown of not getting Brady, because I'm such a big Brady fan. I have a Brady jersey hanging like right up there. You can't see it.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the worst take. The worst take of that Charger draft season were all the Charger fans that wanted Jordan Love at the number 6 pick. That was the worst.
Jesus.
I did not want him.
No.
There was a subset of Chargers fans who were banging the table like, oh, Anthony Lynn could develop this guy.
Anthony Lynn can't develop shit.
Anthony Lynn can develop him, huh? Anthony Lynn, baby.
What was the evidence that Anthony Lynn was developing a quarterback?
Absolutely zero. Absolutely zero that Anthony Lynn could develop a quarterback.
They should have went. Who was our offensive coordinator then? That's who you should have said. Oh, maybe this guy could develop him.
Yeah.
I forget who the OC was.
We were all over the place with OCs in that time. I don't remember who it was either.
I don't know if it was Steichen yet. I think it might have been Steichen at that time.
It might have been Steichen.
It was Steichen.
It was Steichen.
Who had just taken over. They'd fired Ken Wisenhunt in the middle of the season before, in the middle of the Rivers last season. So let's talk about TikTok a little bit.
Hell yeah.
So we like to ask our guests who are prominent on TikTok, just what kind of comment do you get that just makes you laugh consistently? Whether it's a hate comment, whether it's something funny you get, like what's something that just makes you laugh?
I mean, they're all pretty funny. And I'm not trying to challenge nobody here, but the ones that get a really good roast on me, where it's like that is so true that I can't even respond to it. Whether they come up with a way to like trip me up in my argument, or it's like something to do with the Chargers. It's just a really funny joke I haven't heard before, which, by the way, guys, I've heard the ring joke. I've heard the playoffs joke. I've heard the Phillip Rivers Hall of Fame jokes. Let's come up with some original stuff. But if you can come up with something that I haven't seen, then that's what usually will get me. And I'm not the type to take anything super serious. Like, even like feuds with Raiders. Like, I made like a Raiders Civil War video. I don't know if either one of you guys saw it. And I'm trying to like get that going. And it was going strong for like a solid like 12 hours. They were even fighting at practice. I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but they were even fighting at practice. But one of them were just like made this whole conspiracy video that I cooked this all up just for profits and all that stuff. And it's like, it didn't make me any money. It really didn't get like a ton of views. It was like just a decent video. And those sometimes make me laugh too, because it's like, I'm not big enough for y'all to be going conspiracy theory on me.
Well, let me ask you, do you have a video that you put like a lot of time in that you felt like just should have absolutely just ignited and went huge, that just didn't really do anything or didn't meet expectations?
That happens almost every day, Ethan. That happens almost every day. And anytime anyone asks me for advice on TikTok, the first thing I'll tell them is just be ready for that to happen, that exact thing. And you got to push through those. because the next one might be the 50K. You don't know. The next one might be the 250K video. You don't know. That's happened to me a bunch of times. For example, just with the Hall of Fame thing, I had a really good idea where I was like, I'm going to bring the exhibits to life. I don't know if you guys saw any of the videos I made on that. But like the first one I made was the Kenyon Drake miracle.
Yeah.
A picture of Kenyon Drake, and I did the transition to where like I zoom in with the camera and it pivots to the actual video of the moment, right?
Yeah.
Well, the first Kenyon Drake one absolutely flopped. The first video of the series flopped. And I was like, damn, man, I felt so good about this video. I feel good about this whole series. I took like 20 shots for it. I had shots of all the exhibits just to edit on the plane ride home. I was like, you know what? I tell myself, like, even if it flops, try again, try again, try again. So on the plane ride home, I made like 5 more, and those 5 combined for like probably close to like 250,000 views. And I was like, damn, that good thing I didn't just go, oh, because the Kenyon Drake one didn't work out. Shrug my shoulders. You also can always, if something flops that you think is a really good idea, take it down. Not take it down. Private it. When you take it down, it hurts your account. When you private it, it doesn't hurt your account. Private it and just change the hook. Change the first like line. Change the first 5 seconds of the video, and then try it again. Sometimes just that little tweak in the hook can actually do it. The first video that I got 1 million views on was one of those where it was just the tweak in the very beginning, the text that I put on the screen. So you just got to keep trying. That's the biggest thing. Be resilient. Even when you don't get a good one. I have 100,000 followers on TikTok, and I had a video flop yesterday. So it happens to everyone. Trust me. It happens to everyone.
It's actually funny just because you mentioned, like, you know, obviously you're reposting the hook, but like our biggest one that we had go up, Ethan posted it, and I was like not doing anything after like 10 minutes. I'm like, maybe we should just private this. I don't think it's doing anything. And it does like 400,000 views. And I was like, oh, idiot Clark, I think you're not in charge of that whole process of it. So
that's another thing. The algorithm is slowing down. So everyone, like, your video may flop, you know, for the first 5 hours of it, and then all of a sudden it takes off. A lot of times I'll wake up in the morning and be like, holy cow, I didn't know that these videos were going to go that far overnight like that.
Yeah.
Well, I got to ask you, for you, what's a successful video? Like, what do you post and you feel really good about? Like, either view count wise, like wise, what do you consider like a successful video?
I'm glad y'all are asking me this. No one ever asked me any of this stuff. I'm like super in depth with my analytics and all of that stuff, and making sure that my page is improving, making sure that I'm finding ways to improve my page. Usually what I'll consider a successful video is a video that garnered reaction, first of all, and ended up getting shared a lot. That's what I kind of look for, more than the view number or the like number. And usually they'll be hand in hand. Shares, likes, views. Shares will increase the likes and increase the views. But I just, my goal with every video that I post is to format it and make it in a way that I think, okay, they're going to share this with people that they know are fans of this team. If I'm making a video on Deebo Samuel, I'm trying to get people to see it and go, I need to send this to my friend who's a 49ers fan. So I usually look at shares, but my average views is in between 7 and 10K. So anytime I go over that, I consider it a win, a big win for me, because like I said, the algorithm is slowing down. It's a lot harder to do it. I'm actually thinking about like slowing volume down, because I think that right now it's getting to a point where everyone is kind of just flooding the feed with as much content as they can get up, which is what I've done and what I would recommend when you're first starting out. But I think that the larger creators are starting to realize that scarcity now, and making the content that you make that is maybe that higher quality content over everyone else that's just blasting it out is actually standing out all of a sudden, versus, you know, before it would be if you post one video a day, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But now I think if you post one super good video a day, it might be better for your account than it is to post 5 average videos a day. So I actually have set a goal for myself. I'm going through right now because it's fantasy season and I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to keep blasting the way I've been doing it. But after the Chargers-Raiders game, after whatever the result of that game is and whatever the content that comes from it is, I'm going to go to 1 to 3 posts a day. Right now I'm posting 5 to 10 a day. I'm going to go to 1 to 3 a day is my goal. So
I got to ask, what's your hashtag strategy?
My hashtag strategy is simple. It's to just use hashtags that relate to the topic. And use one broad hashtag. The 2 that I like the most is hashtag viral and hashtag sports. So you throw those 2 on there, and then you just put a bunch of hashtags that relate to the topic.
Yeah.
Hashtag the team and tag the teams. For some reason that helps out. Get the algorithm knows where to send it because the algorithm is tracking not only that you like the NFL, but which team you like. Trust me. This is why Raiders fans think that I'm like obsessed with their team. Raiders fans think that I only make Raiders content as a Chargers fan. They really do because the algorithm only sends them Raiders videos that I make.
Exactly.
And they're just like, man, this is the 10th straight one that I've seen. And I go, well, go look at my page, man. Out of the past 50 videos, I've only made one Raiders video. It just only sends you the Raiders video immediately.
No, exactly. We have the same thing because we made some stuff like baseball related to like the Dodgers a lot because we talk Dodgers or Padres. We get Dodgers fans like, this is the 4th time I've seen something from your dumb ass. I'm like, well, you're the idiot who keeps clicking on it and commenting. So thank you for the interaction.
Well, what you should tell them is it's the algorithm. That's how the algorithm works. If you're a Dodger fan, it's going to send you a Dodgers themed videos from our account most. But what breaks that cycle is if they just follow you. Once they follow you, then the algorithm will send them all your stuff. So
maybe I'll tell them to follow us next time.
Yeah. Don't tell them. Don't go at them. Don't go at them heavy, Clark. Don't go at them heavy.
It's so hard not to.
Yeah, because they leave something rude. They leave something rude, and you just gotta kill them with kindness and turn them into a follower. That's the.
I mean, I like to. I try to keep it. I keep it light. I really try. I really do. But it's just something, it's just sometimes a certain fan base just like there, and they say something that it's wrong. I'm like, all right, you just teed me up, bud. Here we go. So it's like,
I understand you. I understand you. The worst thing with me is I'm a debater. I've debated my buddies my whole life. I debate my own dad all the time on sports too, and I'm just constantly debating with people off camera. And then when I read the comments and I see comments, I'm just like, I got this guy. Like I can just disprove everything he just said. And I have to like hold back almost, like hold my thumbs back from typing a paragraph about how dumb his take is. But usually instead of that, I go, I respect your opinion. I'd love to see it next time.
Yeah, usually we do like, we'll just leave like a little bit like, thanks for the comment. Tune in for our next episode for
exactly.
That's what we always put like, oh, we look forward to you listening to our next show. And then they always comment, I'm not listening. And then we just send them the link to our podcast.
Yeah. Now, if another creator that I know creates content, even if they're a small creator, if they drop some poop in the comments, now I'm full on like, what perspective I'm coming from, and you're still doing this, so I'm coming for you now.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right, so let's move back into the Chargers, and let's get into our new segment, which is called Mythbusters. So we're only gonna have one Mythbuster in this scenario, and that's our boy NFL Mike over here. So Clark and I have some statements that are generalizations about the Chargers that a lot of people think are myths that I think have been busted many, many times. But people still put these in the comments all the time, and it's like the only thing people say about Chargers fans. So I'm going to start off with the first one, and all I want you to do is just basically respond to it.
Okay.
So the first one is the Chargers do not have a true rival in the league.
The Raiders. That's our true rival. It's the Raiders, man. And the Raiders fans know it too. That's why they fill up SoFi. That's why they make a point to black out SoFi, because they know that there is a rivalry there. And the rivalry probably roots from the Los Angeles Raiders versus the San Diego Chargers. But the Raiders are the Chargers' true rival. Yeah, the Raiders have other rivals. They're rivals with the Cowboys. They're rivals with the 49ers. They're a big franchise. They're one of the bigger franchises in the league. But the Chargers and Raiders are in the same division. They play twice a year, and it seems like every single year that game has some extra juice for both sides. I think it's the Raiders. The Chiefs and the Broncos are rivals technically, but it just feels like they're either an elite team or a bad team, one of the two. It's never in between.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
That fires me up. Give me that.
And week 1, we're coming.
Yeah.
I might have a pink shirt on now, but it's going to be covered in Raiders blood by the end of the season.
So here's another one for you. And I've heard your opinion on this one before, so I'm sure I'll know your answer. But the Chargers have no fans.
That's incorrect. The Chargers have no fans that can afford to go all the way to Los Angeles and pay $500 to go to a game. Yes, but the Chargers do have fans. Go to training camp and take a look around. Go to any Chargers organized event by the Die Hard Bolt Club. By the way, they are doing a phenomenal job this offseason. They're really stepping up the game this offseason and last offseason with getting more fans to the events. There are Chargers fans out there. They just all live in San Diego, and they're scattered across the rest of the country is what I've realized. And I think that San Diego being a big military town has a lot to do with that as well, because a lot of people get to San Diego and they can go to Chargers games for free pretty much because they have huge military discounts and stuff. They become Chargers fans and they leave San Diego the next tour that they go on. And then also what's trending right now, and it's a big one, and I've talked to multiple Oregon fans. There is a Chargers fan base growing in Oregon right now. There is. And I think that it's going to get to a point where everyone kind of knows that. It's not just kind of something that's growing, and that's going to make the fan base even stronger. And hopefully some of those people can come and fly down and see some games. But the problem is that Dean Spanos took the team to LA, a market where the Cowboys, 49ers, and Raiders already dominated it. And the only way that you're going to flip that is, one, that all these kids wearing Justin Herbert jerseys grow up, and two, you get bandwagon fans. That's the only way you're going to be able to flip it, if you win and you get a bunch of bandwagon fans. That's it. So we do have fans. There's a couple of them sitting on the screen right in front of you right now. Maybe it's not as high as the Raiders, because the Raiders have a nation, or whatever the hell they call it. I was in Ohio. There was a lot of Raiders fans in Ohio, by the way. There was a lot. But the Jaguars fans outnumber the Raiders fans easily. So they came out for Tony Baselli's induction. But there is Chargers fans out there. I would say that there are probably more Chargers fans out there that are true fans than teams like I never hear about. I'm trying to think of a team that you never really hear
Titans
from their
fans?
fan base. Titans, you don't really hear much from the Titans. I know like one Titans fan. I don't really hear, like, I know the Giants have a lot of fans, but like they don't talk very often.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot coming out.
One I would say that is an underrated small fan base is the Houston Texans. I think they just get dominated by Dallas, and because of their move, a lot of the people that were Oilers fans kind of left the team.
Mm-hmm. Jacksonville has a similar problem, I feel like.
Jacksonville. Like, what's the whole thing? Like, they might move to Chicago or something like that?
I don't know.
It's so weird.
I feel like the Khan family, they're really savvy business people, and they're probably just like in pain watching that business not succeed as much as they know it can.
Without a doubt. All right, Ethan, you're up.
For sure. All right, next up. Herbert is not elite because he has not made the playoffs.
Oh my gosh. You guys are just really pushing it. You're really pushing all of the buttons. Look at guys. Everyone at home too. Making the playoffs. Yes, the quarterback. Okay. Quarterbacks do have the biggest impact of any position on the football field of win or loss. We could probably put as much as 40%, I don't know, like a high percentage on the quarterback. But still, at the end of the day, if the secondary gives up that many points to Derek Carr and the Raiders, if the defensive line and the linebacking core can't stop anything in the run game, like none of that is directly Justin Herbert's fault. So when you look at the win-loss record, I think that they should change the stat for quarterbacks. Win-loss record when going over a certain performance and when not going over a certain performance. Because Justin Herbert, for example, in the game to go to the playoffs was unbelievable. Like, I get, like, everyone's always like, they didn't make the playoffs and they blame Herbert and they put it on Herbert's back, but he is the last player on that field on week 18 to blame for that loss. Every other player has more responsibility to that loss. Justin Herbert balled the hell out in that game. You got to look at the player as an individual when you're looking at this kind of stuff. Making the playoffs is a team accomplishment. And yes, Herbert probably should have made the playoff. They should have won that game if the Chargers defense would have played better. But Herbert doesn't play defense. That's the biggest thing. Herbert is already a top 5 quarterback in his second year in the league. Every single statistic will vouch. And if you actually pull up the stats and look at Herbert in his first 2 years, you can say he's the best quarterback in the league. But we don't even go that far. We just want his respect for what he's done.
I like it. So
one thing I want to bring up in the comments is, so we have Nuts and Bolts watching the
That's Tony.
stream.
Hi, Tony.
And so this is a stat I was actually going to bring up, but he said the Chargers had the first winning season in 25 years of a team with a bottom 3 ranked defense. The last team to do it was the Rams in 2000 when they ended up having a winning record.
Yeah, and I think that probably the 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns was the reason for that.
Yeah. I will say this. if you watch the Chargers, especially their week 17, and you thought Justin Herbert was the reason they did not make the playoffs,
Week 18.
I advise you to seek medical help. because I can't really tell you what else to look at. I mean, that dude did everything in his freaking bag that he could to get you guys to the playoffs. It just didn't happen. Just didn't happen.
And that happened in multiple games. That exact thing happened in multiple games. We were in a barn burner with the Steelers for no reason, too. We shouldn't have been in that game with the Steelers like that. Their defense was just beat up by injuries so badly. But Herbert couldn't be stopped against the Browns. I was at that game. Couldn't be stopped. They were trying everything. He could not be stopped. And there's moments where it feels like Joe Lombardi and Staley go, you know what? We just got to let him go. We ain't even going to really do anything but just let him go. We're going to call plays that let him push the ball down the field the rest of this game. And when they do that, he can't be stopped. He's had a few rough games, but it's been like against Baltimore or New England or something like that. It's like, yeah, every quarterback has a rough game against some of the better coached defenses.
Without a doubt.
Here's
another myth I'll ask you pertaining to. I had one written down, but now I kind of want to change it back to the last game that we just taught, last game of the season.
My favorite game ever.
For a myth or not, if Brandon Staley doesn't call a timeout, the Raiders take the tie and both teams go to the playoffs. Is that true or not in your mind?
I think it's true.
No.
Really?
I don't know. I think that when they called timeout, you also kind of let the O-line regroup. I think that if we don't give up, was it 11 yards, 12 yards to Jacobs on that carry, I think they were going to let the time run out. Because they weren't going to throw the ball. They were running it. They were trying to play it. They were trying to play it safe. They weren't trying to throw the ball. They weren't pushing it, trying to get into field goal range as soon as they possibly can. They weren't conserving time. They were letting it run down before they were snapping. They were trying to ensure that there's no way they can lose, of course. But they were like on the other side of the 50 with less than a minute left and letting the clock go down. And the play call was definitely a handoff to Josh Jacobs. I mean, if we don't give up the 9 to 11 yards, whatever it was, to put them in range to kick it, they may have attempted like a 66-yard field goal with 1 second left or something, or a 70-yard field goal. But if they would have missed it, they would have just thrown the shoulders up and went to the playoffs anyways. But there was motivation for the Raiders to win, because I think the way that the seeding would have worked, no offense to Cincinnati, but from hindsight, but from when that was happening in that perspective, they would have went to KC, I think, instead of playing Cincinnati, which is a lot scarier for them when they just lost by like a 90 total points the last 2 times they had played them that season. So there was some incentive. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. The only people that know, I think the only person that really truly knows is Rich Pistachio. He's the only real person that knows.
Rich Pistachio, yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's like what I genuinely kind of do. I really think they would run the clock out. As weird as it sounds, the thing, just from a competitiveness standpoint, I really think they would have been okay taking the tie. But I think they were going to do it.
I have to step in. Okay, this always gets brought up, but on that play when he called the timeout, there were only 5 seconds on the play clock and 32 seconds on the actual game clock. The Raiders had to run a play no matter what. Like, everyone always acts like with the timeout that they were just going to let it run out right there. The Chargers still would have given up the same run call on that play. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, if the Chargers had just left it as it was, that run defense would have stopped them. I think that run defense was so bad that no matter if a timeout was called or not, the Chargers were going to give up a first down. I mean, they could not stop the run in any way.
Well, I think we agree, Ethan. I think we agree, because my take is that if they don't get that one run, they let the time run out. And I think that we agree with that. You're just saying like the timeout didn't change, that they were just going to run the ball right there. And if they got in range, they still would have kicked. They still would have kicked. Yeah.
Everyone always acts like the timeout, like, oh, the Raiders were going to run it out right there. Like, the Chargers didn't need to call a timeout because the game was over at that point. Which no one looks at the time on the clock. The Raiders had to run a play and it was third down.
Well, it's more convenient to think about it that way, because for people it's just another way to poo on the Chargers, I guess. Like, it makes it seem more incompetent, which is unfair. It shouldn't be done. I'm not saying that's right.
They had one. But what do you think, Ethan, about the clip though of the player telling Eckler that they were going to run the
timeout? What is that player now?
I think
that's pretty. That's kind of big to me.
Again, I think they were gonna run the clock out if they didn't pick up that first down. That's what I think was gonna happen. That's what he means. if they didn't pick up the first down, then it would have been like if the Chargers had stopped them, the Chargers would have been in the playoffs. I totally agree with that sentiment.
One run play, and he was a single back, huh? One single back run play when the whole world knows they're running it.
Do you know who they ran it at?
Jerry Tillery, let me guess.
And do you know the linebacker on the second level?
Was it K9?
Yep, it was K9. It was.
How can I guess it without even knowing it?
Yeah.
Well, should we go? Wait,
guys, everyone goes at.
I know I'm the one being interviewed. Should we get Roquan or no?
I mean,
yes,
I don't know.
yes, I would trade for him. If I were you guys, I would trade for Roquan Smith.
The issue is the Chargers just can't sign him to an extension. The Chargers are already in a negative cap space next year. They don't have the current capital to do it. It would be really hard. They would have to cut Keenan Allen. I
get that they couldn't extend him, but are you trying to win now? Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, I would, as long as it's not a first, I would probably make the deal.
Yeah, if you can swing it for a second, who cares? It's a little bit of a rental
for a 1-year deal. I mean, the issue is it just goes against Staley's philosophy in every way. He does not value linebackers at all. And for him trading significant capital for a linebacker would be the biggest slap in the face to his philosophy.
Yeah, I don't think
he can swallow his pride for a second.
I don't think it's going to happen. But when you talk about the perfect linebacker, if you were going to ever go after a linebacker, it's him. I mean, a guy that can fly in coverage and a guy that is dominant in the run stop game. It's like I feel like I'm being really greedy even thinking about it. If they did pull the trigger on it, I would be ecstatic. I think the best way they could do it contract-wise is to backload the contract for after Khalil Mack's contract. But yeah, it's very unlikely that they would trade for someone like that. Yeah. The only way I think that we'd ever get someone like that with his scheme is through the draft.
I would agree. Yeah. It'd be a nice idea, though. I mean, again, if you don't give up a first-round pick, if you give up like a second for it, just knowing it'd be a 1-year thing.
Yeah, me and Tony were talking about it. We were like, if they ain't going to bring back Kaiser White, they ain't trading for a $20 million guy like that.
Exactly.
But I think that with the linebacker situation that we're in right now, Derwin's going to play a lot of linebacker.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're going to move into our next segment, which is our most popular thing. And that it started just as a TikTok trend and has just kind of turned into this really creative thing we do now, which is She's a 10. So I have 2 statements for you. And all you got to do is give us a number of what you'd rate her because of her red flag, basically. And then you can give a quick statement if you want. You don't have to. So the first one is she's a 10, but she's a Raiders fan.
0. We ain't dating. Me and my wife have been talking about moving down to California recently just because of how expensive it is to live here. And like Vegas is a real popular one that comes up in the conversation. And the second I hear Las Vegas or I hear the V in Vegas, I'm like, nope, we're not going there. That's how serious it is. I won't even move there for financial stability. That's how much I hate them. I'm telling you right now, I will not do it. And I was at the cheerleaders, like we're sitting in front of us for the Raiders cheerleaders, whatever the fuck they call them, so the Raiderettes or whatever it is. Yeah, they were sitting in front of us, and I asked them to make a video with me for like a Super Bowl prediction, and it was basically just like a cool little video for the Raiders fans to let me get served in front of all of them. But in the comments, everyone was like, "Mike, you should date one of the cheerleaders." Blah, blah, blah. I mean, for one, I'm married, but for 2, I would never. Don't care that they're an NFL cheerleader. Don't give 2 you know whats.
I love it. That's what the answer should be.
And they probably don't even like the Raiders. They probably just got a job.
Yeah, they probably don't enjoy them. They probably don't enjoy it.
All right, next up. She's a 10, but she believes the Chargers should have never left San Diego.
She's still a 10. She's a 15.
Yeah, exactly.
The Chargers should have stayed in San Diego. They should have.
That is one of the biggest tragedies. I mean, again, we talked about this a little bit off air. But I mean, I still have affinity for the Chargers because I do love Justin Herbert. But man, did it break my heart when they did leave? That was tough.
Yeah,
really tough.
I was actually there for training. I lived there for like 9 months in San Diego when that all was going down, and it was really sad. Even as a kid from LA living in San Diego, I was like, man, this sucks, man. This city rallies around the team for the most part. But I do think, on the flip side, that we are LA-ified. Like all this buying free agents, the Corey Linsley acquisition, even the year before, J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, bringing all these guys in. That's some Los Angeles stuff right there. And it might not have happened if we're in San Diego.
For sure.
For sure. I totally think that's, I mean, that is a good point, at least for the whole, if you can soothe over going to LA, is that you have to win if you're going to be in LA. So it forces them to make moves. And it does bring in probably more of a revenue stream for sure of what you can spend on it. So from a financial standpoint and making the team better, I think it was an improvement. It's just hard not to see him in San Diego anymore.
I definitely think if they're in San Diego, though, that Rivers, he plays that last year with us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And
what was he still carpooling up there from his house that he had down in San Diego? I thought for the
something like
longest time
that. He loves San Diego, man. He loves San Diego.
You could tell he hated it too. I also like a really niche thing, but when he announced his retirement, he gave it to Kevin Acee at the Union Tribune in San Diego rather than an LA guy.
Yeah,
that was like one more little slight that I thought was pretty funny from Phil. So
yeah, I really wish that we could have had a Phil Herbert overlap year. That would have been sick. I mean, Herbert's rookie year would have never happened, but it would have been cool.
Would have been kind of fun to see him together.
Yeah, but the thing is, you think about that. Imagine Herbert with Phillip Rivers' just intelligence on the football field. I mean, I would argue that there has been smarter quarterbacks than Rivers, but I mean, no one can read a defense like Rivers.
I still, to this day, would not mind if we're going into the playoffs and they don't want to take any chances adding him as a backup.
Just bringing Phil for a little courtesy run out there, get him out there.
Yeah.
Week 14, get him in. You're the backup, man. If something happens, be ready.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. So now we're going to move into start, bench, cut. So we're just going to do 2 of these. And what we're going to start with is these are all Chargers legacy players. So what we're going to do, start, bench, cut. Darren Sproles, Danny Woodhead, or Austin Eckler?
Oh, why would you do that?
When you said Woodhead earlier, I'm like, oh, this one got so much better.
What am I doing? My personal favorite, or am I doing best for the team?
Best for the team.
Darren Sproles is the starter. Eckler's the backup. That hurts.
Oh,
that hurts. That hurts.
Your guy.
That hurts. I can't do it, but yeah, Danny Woodhead thrived because we had a lack of receivers that year. So he played a lot of receiver, man. He wasn't even running the ball. But Eckler and Sproles, they're both pretty legit as runners. And when we had Sproles, that dude wasn't just a returner like he was New Orleans and Philadelphia and them. That dude was a baller out the backfield. No one could touch him. And he wasn't afraid to lower the helmet when he needed to, even as small as he was. But yeah, Sproles was probably the guy I would go with just because of his well-roundedness. And then Eckler's the perfect backup for Sproles because he has a similar game style, just a little bit more power to him. But man, can you guys throw a power back in there?
Sure, we didn't throw Ryan Matthews in there or something like that.
Oh yeah, I would have cut him immediately.
We could have added paper mache into this thing.
Yeah, we could.
No, we wanted it to be kind of like third down back, like that kind of makeup.
We could have gone like Mike Tolbert too, I guess. To be
nice. Didn't Ryan
Brandon Oliver?
Oh, that's a little sneaky right there. Didn't Ryan Matthews roll his ankle in warmups one game? And then
I'm sure he probably did. I just remember breaking his collarbone every other season. I feel like
it was his clavicle.
Clavicle.
He broke both clavicles one year. He came back from breaking his right, and then in the first game back, he broke his left.
I just remember really on that too. There was a debate who's gonna be better, CJ Spiller or Ryan Matthews? Oh, they both were bad, really. So
bro, I've only came to tears one time as a football fan so far, and it was when Danny Woodhead tore his knee. That was the only time I came to tears because I was like, man, this man doesn't deserve this. This is unfair. Awesome. I was 18 also, so I was a little bit less aware that Derwin and Hunter Henry and Keenan Allen and all it was gonna happen to all these guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one. Start, bench, cut. Junior Seau, LaDainian Tomlinson, or Antonio Gates?
These guys are different positions.
Yeah, now we'll say this one. This is off your likeness. We'll go off likeness for this one.
What the hell?
He's a toughie.
That's why they're fun.
I have to go with Junior Seau at 1. I never watched him play in person. I've only watched highlights. I've only watched I watch full games because I'm a nerd like that. But I've only watched post career stuff. I mean, I probably watched him as a kid. I just don't remember. He wasn't a Charger anymore. So, but I can't because that dude was a monster, and I respect him so much. I respect how in tune he was with the San Diego fan base and everything. So I'm going Junior Seau and then LaDainian Tomlinson. And you guys making me cut Antonio Gates?
I know. It's Ethan's question. This is Ethan, the Charger fan. I didn't have my hands on this one, so.
Okay.
I tried to
Don't
pick
clip it.
three
Don't
famous.
Don't clip it.
Don't expose him. Don't expose him.
Yeah, don't let him know.
Get canceled.
Luckily,
by
it's
Chargers
at the
fans.
end of the episode, so
yeah,
we'll just cut this part out.
There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, let's get you some even more hate.
Oh.
Bench cut. Justin Herbert, Phillip Rivers, or Dan Fouts.
Oh my god, dude!
These are hard hitting questions. This is hard hitting podcasting.
This is hard hitting.
Right here.
This is journalism right here.
I just paid respect to Junior Seau.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pay the same respect to Dan Fouts.
Oh wow!
But Dan, I'm mad. I'm mad because Dan Fouts hosted like the Hall of Fame part where the Hall of Famers came out for the Gold Jagged dinner. And I just had my eyes on him once that thing ended. Because I'm like, once it ended, they were just like, all right, go home. Everyone just get up and leave. All these guys, all these legends are in there. So I was like, I have not asked for a single picture with anybody. Like, Roger Goodell was as close as like over my shoulder. Like, all these people were. And I was like, I haven't asked for a picture of nobody. So after this, I'm going to be a fan for 1 second. And I'm going to hunt Dan Fouts down. The second it ends, I see him. I kept my eyes locked on him. So I was like, I'm going to follow him. I told my wife even to stay because I'm running. And he like is going through the crowd, and I just see the top of his head. I'm like, he is getting away. This guy's getting away from me. And I go outside, and he's gone. Poof.
Oh,
in there.
That's a bummer.
Never got to meet him.
Open field tackled him in the Hall of Fame.
I couldn't catch him. I couldn't catch him. I thought everyone would like slowly move out, and I would just meet him outside at the exit somewhere. But he got out of there quick. So I'm gonna go Dan Fouts just because of respect, and then I'm going to go Justin Herbert because you got a veteran with a young backup with potential, a lot of potential. And then I'll cut Phil, even though he's my childhood hero. It's the second time I had to do that now. Danny Woodhead and Phil Rivers. Thanks.
Let me ask you one question before we go off. And that's, do you think Dan Fouts is an announcer?
He's not the best.
Yeah.
I like hearing him call a game because I watched all of his stuff, so like hearing his perspective is more the thing for me than anything. But it's kind of like everyone loves Tony Romo, but like Dallas Cowboys fans think that he's the best announcer in the history of football. So I can't really give too much of an opinion on Dan Fouts. I will listen to a Dan Fouts game though, and he did a good job hosting the show. And when Charles Woodson was about to come out, I know he just had an old timer moment. Like he didn't do this on purpose. But Charles Woodson was like on the stage. All the Raiders fans were in there like hyped. And he went, and now introducing, and he did like the whole intro for Charles Woodson, used his accolades, everything. And he said, Rod Woodson.
Oh, Lord. Oh, no. Oh, damn.
And Charles Woodson refused to go out on the stage. They never got their moment. It was beautiful.
Oh, man.
I enjoyed it.
That's great. Actually, hold on. Before we go, Ethan, I don't want to let you off the hook either as a Chargers fan yourself. I want you to answer the start bench cut on Phil, Dan, and Justin. I want to hear that, too.
Justin is the best.
I'm easily cutting Dan Fouts. That's like easy for me.
I mean,
Chargers community, he's cutting Dan Fouts. Think about that.
I mean, yes, I get that he had all the stats and everything, but I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, Dan Fouts, when his career stacks up to Phillip Rivers and Justin Herbert, they both crushed all of his records. And Dan Fouts played, and you want to talk about him not being in a modern offense. He played in the modern offense. They literally created it with him at quarterback under Air Coryell.
Exactly,
so, he played in the modern offense, and Herbert and Rivers are already destroying stats. But out of this, I'm starting Rivers. I just think Rivers' legacy is I think it's going to just age better as time goes on. I get that he never won a Super Bowl, but all of his stats are top 5. His legacy just to stay healthy is insane. I mean, he currently sits at playing 226 games in a row. I mean, he's an absolute menace. He played on a torn ACL with literally just a bandage around his knee in an AFC Championship game. I mean, he's one of the most competitive guys. He's my absolute childhood. He was the quarterback when I became a fan. I was almost, Clark knows this. I declared after the week 1 Tyrod Taylor game that I was now an Indianapolis Colts fan. I was like, I'm moving on.
Even though we won. Even though we won.
He jumped ship. He was ready to go.
I'm like, I'm done with this. This was boring. This was dumb. It's not Rivers. And I'm like, I didn't like Herbert at the time. I thought Herbert was a bad draft pick. They didn't take Tua. And I was like, oh, this is just headed all the wrong direction. I'm going to stick with Phil and be a Colts fan this year. They
1
took a
week
chance
later.
on Phil with my team.
1
And
week
then
later.
next week, I remember my dad and I were sitting and watching Red Zone, and the Chargers had come up, and there was Tyrod Taylor got his lung injected, and Justin Herbert came out. We immediately switched to the game, and then we were automatically hooked back. We just sat there like, oh my, we were just so wrong immediately. That is incredible.
The first drive.
Everything about his first game, people love to pick out that he lost, but he took the defending Super Bowl champions in his first career start to overtime. And if it weren't for a boneheaded play where he should have just scrambled and got a first down instead of trying to take the shot downfield, they would have beaten him. And he probably would have made the playoffs in his first year. And who knows what his second year would have looked like. But right now, I gotta bench Herbert, but I think Herbert's gonna top Rivers by the end of his career.
Herbert
But as it sits right now, I hope so. I think
2021 Herbert is the best quarterback the Chargers have ever had. He's in his second year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I don't know. I mean, as much as I like to say that from a stats perspective, yes, but Rivers' 2008 campaign, where he probably should have won the MVP, I would argue is probably more significant just because he had less talent than Herbert did last year. But, I mean, Rivers should have won the MVP that year. Even though Tom Brady went 16-0, every single statistic Rivers had that season is just absolutely insane. He didn't get one vote, which is insanity.
It just seems like every time the Chargers have had that team like that, we've hit a buzzsaw of some sort.
Yeah.
Just unlucky that we just hit like an all-time team that year that we're going against.
Or Marlon McCree just fumbles a game-winning interception.
Don't even talk about
it. Stuff like that, man.
I mean, I could bring up all the ones, like the year that Vincent Jackson kicked the flag. The kick the flag one really hurt.
How about Drew Kaiser dropping the hold? Oh my God.
Or there's that Saints one. I think that was the same season as the dropping the hole.
Oh yeah, there's a bunch. I think I've seen the Chargers lose in every way, but I've seen Rivers drop the kneel down snap too.
That was on Halloween. I remember I was trick or treating and I watched it through somebody's window.
Were you yelling?
No, I was really young then. Like, we were probably in middle school.
Yeah.
Like those years, I didn't become a Chargers fan till like 2009 or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
The year that they pulled off 13 in a row after starting 3-2, that's when I became a fan. Because my dad had always been really into the Chargers, and I didn't really get it until they started. Then I watched LaDainian Tomlinson, and I was like, wow, this is like really cool.
Yeah, you got to have that season. Mm-hmm. My dad's a 49ers fan, and he tried to poison my mind. But those Frank Gore, Alex Smith 49ers, they turned me into a Chargers fan. They were so boring, man. They were good. Frank Gore was good, but it was just 35 carries a game. He just running straight up the middle for 3 yards every single play. So I went to my room. I was turning on Chargers games behind my dad's back. He didn't even know because LaDainian Tomlinson was not doing 3-yard runs. He was going nuts.
For sure. Well, anything left you want to say, Mike or Clark? You want to add on?
Oh, no, I've had a blast. I think it's been great. I really appreciate Mike coming off, man. It's been a ton of fun. It's been great to hear. Sure. And I love to see you guys talk Chargers, too. It's a pleasure, I'm glad to see you guys are excited about this season again. So,
Super Bowl champs.
Oh, yeah, I think this is a good squad. We should do this again sometime. Are you both going to the game on Saturday?
No, Clark
Ethan will be at the game on Saturday. I will not be.
I'll be there with my dad.
I'm not the season ticket holder. Ethan is. Yeah. I was surprised, too. It was like $130 for a preseason game. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I bought them a long time ago. And I bought the cheapest seats I could find.
Oh, really?
Section 550.
Oh, nice. Maybe sometime I'll have you come sit where
you guys should get some good content and stuff. It'll be fun for you guys.
Oh, hell yeah. If you think of anything, let me know, man. We'll make something out there. I don't mind at all. I got this t-shirt for you, too. I got to bring to you.
I know. I can't believe I won that.
I was super stoked.
Bad. I was like, I just went on. So, Clark, I just went on to Sean's live, and I was just kind of sitting there, and I guess I got like entered into the giveaway, which I wasn't really paying attention to. And then I won the giveaway.
Let's go, Eric.
Well, that's what I wanted to happen, though. So it seems messed up, but this is the whole thing behind this giveaway, and I set it up perfectly too. I even like went on my story and I was like, no Chargers fans are entering, so everyone show up to the live, like all this stuff, because I wanted all the Raiders fans to show up to the live, and I was gonna deny them entry into the giveaway.
There it is. You gotta always gatekeep. Gatekeep against your rival team. You have to gatekeep.
That's pretty funny.
But it's a cool shirt, dude. It's a cool shirt. It's a cool shirt.
I'm psyched. I'll wear it on the show.
Okay,
wear
cool.
it on the show next week.
Cool. Cool.
So why don't you plug your stuff before we go?
Oh yeah, one more time, guys. It's NFL Mike on TikTok. That's simple. NFLMIKE on TikTok. Go follow me over there. I post every single day. Promise you. I posted today. I'll post tomorrow. I posted yesterday. And then the YouTube channel for me, if you guys want to go and follow me, I do banter just like this with my friends Joe and Tony, is MJT Football. It's our initials. Mike, Joe, Tony, Football. And we're just 3 mega fans just like me. And we talk about all things football. And we do watch parties. We just do a bunch of fun stuff. We're just trying to mess around and have a good time. So that's the 2 places, man. If you guys find me on Instagram and stuff through that, then good. But those are the 2 places I make most of my content.
Awesome. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Listeners, make sure to leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening to. Go follow Sean at NFL Mike. He's absolutely great content creator. He's putting out cool new stuff. Go join his lives. His lives are super fun.
Lives are awesome.
I've secretly been trying to steal how he does them because I want to do them, and I can't figure out how he puts himself in the frame and also has something going on, but I'll steal it one day.
I'll show you.
Yeah, so make sure to leave us a 5-star rating. Make sure to listen to the podcast. Make sure to support it. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are all the places. You guys know all the stuff. Just worry about following NFL Mike right now. Absolute best guest. Thanks for coming on the show.